funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
You're tired.
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday on the Thom Abraham Show. So glad that you are with us today for this 2-hour exercise in radio excellence. And we have a fun Top 10 for you today. As one of the most unique voices in the history of baseball has called it a career at 85 years old. That's John Sterling stepping away from the Yankees. And for Yankee fans, the Yankees win. Yankees win was iconic. And it was arrogant and annoying for everyone else. But what it was unique. Of course, Sterling also the voice of the Atlanta Braves for a number of years back in the 80s, 7 or 8 years. He did the Braves, but in 86, I believe it was, he gets his dream job, which is his hometown New York Yankees. And he has been the voice of the Yankees since I was in my late 20s, mid-20s. Since I was in my mid-20s. I mean, think about that. It's crazy. His home run calls were iconic, and that's our top 10 today. Some of the best home run calls in Sterling's career, in no particular order, from the original, the basic Bernie burn, to his final home run call, a Giancarlo Stanton grand slam last week, with what became one of his most absurd calls. I mean, they were often mocked by not only fans, but of course haters, but even the fans sometimes mocked them. They got kind of silly. But you know what they were? They were unique. We are losing unique out there when it comes to broadcasters. So many guys all sound the same now. The Yankees are replacing Sterling with 37-year-old Justin Shackle and 24-year-old Emmanuel Berbari for the balance of the season. They are combined 24 years younger than John Sterling. I have heard both and have been bored by both. That's basically an audition for them. They are not necessarily the permanent solution. So we'll get those calls in. It'll be fun. Believe me, it'll be fun. We'll get some of those calls in a little bit later on. The NBA playoffs get started tonight with the play-in games. So I guess this is the play-in turn. I guess this is not the playoffs. Unlike with the NCAA tournament, they call this what it is. It's the play-in tournament. The NBA playoffs don't start till the 20th. This is the play-in tournament, if you will, which is what the NCAA should do with the NIT. Turn it into a play-in tournament. We got the Lakers at the Pelicans and the Warriors at the Kings tonight. And then tomorrow, it'll be the Eastern Conference with the Heat at the 76ers. And in the absurdity matchup, the Atlanta Hawks, 10 games under 500, at the Chicago Bulls, who finished 4 games under 500. Bo Estes of NBA TV and NBA.com is coming up in a few minutes. Preview the playoffs for us. At the top of the one, David Moulton, whose show Miller and Moulton in the Morning will also soon be on Talk Radio WZZN. I promise you, because I have a little present that I'm going to show David. Those of you that are watching on WZZN TV are going to see the little present that I show him when he comes on. He's going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk some NFL draft and some other topics. You know, everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels going 2. Caleb Williams will go 1 to Chicago. Jaden Daniels will go 2 to Washington. And I want to go back and kind of look back through some of the drafts. I didn't do enough of the research on this. I should have, but I haven't. But I'm wondering, how many times has the guy taken second ended up better than the guy that went first overall? It usually doesn't happen that way. For the most part, the guy who goes first ends up better than the guy who goes second. But I'm wondering how many times a guy who was picked second, the number 2, the QB2, ended up being better than QB1. And then we all know about, Aaron Rodgers was, picked in the 22nd pick of the first round, and Tom Brady was picked in the 6th round, and, we know that. We get that. Russell Wilson was, I think, a 2nd-round pick, top of the 2nd round, something like that. We understand it. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. We get that. But I wonder, in this discussion of, 1v2, I wonder how many times the guy picked second actually ended up better than the guy who picked first, who went first. It's an interesting thought. Get into that stuff with him as well. Also, could Michigan actually break Georgia's record of 15 guys being selected in the draft? Not in the first round, just selected in the draft. I think the record for first rounders, didn't Miami have like 9 guys one time go in the first round? I think that's the record for first rounders. 5 Michigan guys are expected to go in the first 2 rounds. But there's a lot of meat and potato Michigan guys that could go later. The record is 15 total picks by Georgia. Alabama topped out at 12. The record is 15. Jim Harbaugh says that there should be 20 guys picked. Of course, it's his team, right? It's his old team. Of course, he's going to say that. But most of the experts, anywhere between 14 to 16 possible. All right, phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My X feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are also on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can get a link there to our YouTube channel, WZZN TV, and you'll see that I am today in the palatial studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. I'm here today. We have our weekly staff meeting on Tuesday. Then I have another meeting with Wes after my show on Tuesday. And then today, I got to go see a foot doctor. The closest foot doctor to my house that takes my insurance was in Scottsboro. It's a true story. And it's Alabama foot something. Dr. Poston, I think is his name. Dr. Vinny Moombats. You know my doctor. Dr. Poston. And I got a problem with my big toe on my right foot. And so he's going to look at it. Now, here's the thing. I have a major event this weekend with the Casting and Catching charity fishing tournament at Gunnersville, which I'm not only fishing in, I'm broadcasting my show from there on Friday. I'm practicing on Friday. Then I'm going to then I'm going to fish in the tournament on Saturday. Then I'm emceeing the weigh-in with Randy Howell on Saturday afternoon. So I need my feet. I need both my feet. So I don't know if what he has to do to my big toe on my right foot is going to incapacitate me in any way, shape, or form. If he tells me, hey, I got to do this, I got to do some minor surgery or something like that, if he tells me that, then I'm going to say, Doc, I got to have my feet this weekend. I'm fine. I have no pain. I'm fine. And then go back next week and have him do whatever he's got to do. And by the way, speaking of next week, we got a big thing coming up next week. It'll be 97.7 ESPN The Zone Day next Tuesday night at the Trash Pandas. Next Tuesday night. And we're going to have a great opportunity for you to win some cool prizes out there. You're going to have to come to the 97.7 ESPN The Zone tent. Of course, all the games are heard on our sister station, Talk Radio WZZN. We're going to have some swag from both The Zone and Talk Radio for you out there. And you're going to have an opportunity to win some prizes. We're going to tell you about that a little bit later on in the week and into next week. That's on Tuesday. Then Wednesday, I'm broadcasting my show from there because it's a businessman special, or it's a school day special. And so we'll be broadcasting on location next Wednesday from the Trash Pandas. Next Tuesday night, the Drive will be there. They'll be broadcasting from out there. Our new partnership with the Trash Pandas. A lot of fun. Make sure you get the apps. Get both the apps for 97.7 ESPN The Zone and the Talk Radio WZZN app, so you've got both. Remember, Talk Radio WZZN is at 97.7-2. That is a digital signal. Most vehicles get a digital signal. If you don't have that, have the app so you can listen to Trash Panda games all season long. Fox News during the day, Fox Sports at night over there. And then, of course, here, 7 hours of beautiful local programming for you every day on top of ESPN Radio. It's really great. Spring free agency is upon us in college football. They call it the transfer portal. We just call it what it is. It's free agency. Springtime free agency. And you could be a free agent as many times as you want. You just keep going around wherever. You know. You got guys like Caden Proctor who left Alabama in January and comes back to Alabama in, April. No problem. It's good. It's all good. Caleb Downs, the All-American freshman safety from Alabama last year, who is now with Ohio State, he calls it recruiting on steroids. He said that he received over 100 calls in the hour after he entered the transfer portal after Nick Saban retired. It was announced that Caleb Downs was in the transfer portal, and he got 100 phone calls. Now, 97 of them were from Drew Darman, let's be honest, okay? But, still, you get the point. We'll keep you posted on it. We're monitoring it. The ones who moved the most are the quarterbacks. Last year, in fact, I'm going to hold this number. I'll play the over-under game with Grizz here. He's over there. He's in a little glass room with the slanted ceiling. He's playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax. He's manning phones. He's keeping us on the air. He's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? Detective. It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I mean, this is ridiculous. It's a radio show. It ain't a 1-hour television spectacular.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Now, Tom. Hey, Tom.
He may be the smartest person that I've ever met.
Testosterone high today.
What's that?
Testosterone, whatever the it is. Testosterone.
I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Now, see, I know that you are a fan of baseball on the radio. Baseball on the radio is terrific, isn't it?
Yeah. Ben Ingram, Joe Simpson do a great job. I'm biased. I'm heavily biased to the Braves broadcast.
Yeah, they are, and they do a tremendous job, and they're a little bit unique. They don't. Yeah. They're good to listen to. The guys that were doing a Yankees game with John Sterling retiring, they were playing Cleveland over the weekend, and I had a number of different projects I was doing outside the house. I literally listened to the Cleveland broadcast instead of the Yankee broadcast. That's how bad they were. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to Hamilton on the Cleveland Indians broadcast and see how that works out because I hated it. But now, see, you're lucky because you live in a market where the Braves have always been on the radio here. Right. They're here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Of course, your favorite minor league team, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, are on our sister station as well. So we get that. And that's what you always got. But really, the thing that baseball on the radio is the best radio play-by-play, I think. I mean, it's just great. It's just day in and day out.
Yeah, definitely. Crack of the bat. The sounds. Yeah, everything.
But it's the advent of the MLB app. You know what I mean? Has made it now to where out of time. I mean, you can be anywhere in the country now, and you can listen to your team. Yeah. For $9 a month is what it costs just for the audio side. If you want the extra innings and the video, it costs more than that. But for $9 a month, you can listen to baseball everywhere. And then be honest with you, on satellite, in the car, if you got satellite, you can listen there. But what's happened is it's a renaissance time now in baseball on the radio because of the MLB. I listened to Sterling for a while. I was at in a city in Rochester. We had a Yankee affiliate, but then once I left Rochester, for years and years and years, you completely lose your team.
Yeah,
you lose your team. Now we were watching it because you could always watch it on on TV on satellite, but you completely lose your team. But the advent of the app has made it beautiful to where you can listen to games.
And I will say this, the one positive thing I'll say about Bally and the Bally app, and I hear it all the time on Trash Pandas, is you can watch these MLB games on the app. And a lot of the app audio is obviously the local broadcaster. So, obviously when they go away, we don't get the Trash Pandas, but, I just like being able to watch and have that option of having the radio broadcast on there.
So when it's a road game and we don't get Josh Carey over the top of the video?
Not on the MLB.
You get the local.
Because when they go away 31.6 locally, obviously they don't do the away games, but you can get it on the Bally app, and that's what they promote is that Bally app.
But you can't pick your local team to broadcast.
I didn't really dive into that too much, but I know that when I clicked on it and they were away, it was the other broadcaster.
John Sterling did the Braves for a number of years when you were a little baby.
Did the Hawks too.
He did the Hawks. Yeah, he spent some time in Atlanta to be, nearer.
Did a Hawks Knicks game, I think, or Nets game back in 2016 or something like that on Bally or whatever it was at the time.
Who has shtick anymore though? You know what I mean? You don't hear a lot of shtick anymore, and I liked it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I got a kick out of John Sterling's calls. It was so cool. The little nicknames that he came up with. And you know what one it started with? It started with Bernie Williams.
In the eighth, 1-0 Seattle. It'll be a 3-2. Swung on and hit high in the air to deep right. That ball is high. It is far. It is gone! Bernie goes boom. He drills a home run the short way in the right field seats. Burn, baby, burn! And the Yankees tie the ball game at 1.
That's 2018. But burn, baby, let me take that back. That is 2002, I think it was. 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. That's where it all started, and he would use these lines from movies. The movie, of course, Disco Inferno, burn, baby, burn, and then, now, it got crazy. After a while, he's singing, and he's doing all of these. He had some unbelievable calls, though. We're going to play some of those. As well. And hopefully the people, this is not a Yankee thing. This is a broadcaster thing. Well, you know what I mean? I mean, hopefully people will appreciate we don't have unique anymore. Everybody went to Syracuse School of Broadcasting, and they all sound the same.
Yeah.
And we're going to have two guys on today to talk about the NBA playoffs with Bo Estes coming up and with David Moulton that both appreciate the sound of radio.
And I've listened to David before. It's not like your traditional broadcaster at all. David... He'll tell you everything that's going on. He'll paint a picture and everything like that, but it's not.
You've heard David do play-by-play?
Yeah. When basketball
FGCU and stuff. Yeah. Right. No, David's good. David's a good play-by-player. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, Bo Estes, NBA TV, NBA.com is up. NBA play-in tournament begins tonight. I'm Thom Abraham. This is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Spring is in the air, making it a great time to make plans to visit the Lodge at Guntersville State Park. The Lodge at Guntersville State Park sits on a cliff overlooking beautiful Guntersville Lake with vistas from the cliffside rooms as well as the Pinecrest Room, the Lodge's premier restaurant. And as the weather warms, enjoy the gorgeous pool that overlooks the lake as well. The park also features cabins, a beach, and a boat launch, so bring your boat to take the fun to the lake. The Lodge at Guntersville State Park. Book your visit today.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
If you knew a local restaurant was featured on America's Best Restaurants on YouTube's Bring the Heat, would you not want to try it? Of course you would. So come on down to Lo Capone's and enjoy authentic Italian food and live entertainment daily. Everything is made fresh at Lo Capone's. Mama's secret lasagna recipe, the pizza dough, the sauces, all made fresh daily. And Lo Capone's bar is fully stocked to round out your dining experience. In Florence and now in Huntsville on University Drive. Come on down to Lo Capone's. The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at 5. Bingo every Monday night too starting at 7. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping destination for Auburn and Alabama fans. Get your baseball gear, graduation gifts, or cheer on your team with the newest apparel, hats, and accessories for the entire family. Shop the newest collection of top brands like Nike, Adidas, Champion, Columbia, Yeti, New Era, plus 2 for $38 shirts. Sign up for the Alumni Hall Pass rewards and earn $10 for every 150 points accumulated. Come see us at Alumni Hall near Belk in the Bridge Street Town Center. Alumni Hall, where the best fans shop.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
The NBA play-in tournament starts tonight. 2 Western Conference games on tap. The Lakers battle the Pelicans in New Orleans. LA coach Darvin Ham.
In terms of their matchups, the chess game has been ignited.
New Orleans by 1.5. The Pelicans minus 105 in the money line. LA minus 115. Over under 223.5. Golden State heads to Sacramento tonight. Head coach Steve Kerr.
Well, it'll be a great atmosphere. They'll have their crowd behind them, and it's nice to not get on a plane.
The Kings are 3.5-point underdogs at home. Plus 125 in the money line. Golden State minus 150. Over under 223.5. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
College football.
The ball is caught. It is a touchdown.
Major League Baseball.
That ball is gone. A home run.
This is your place for complete sports coverage all year long. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
11 lifetime against Trombley. The Yankees are a base hit from getting very close to tying this game. A little old single. The pitch swung on and hit in the air to deep right center. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It's a grand slam. Jason Giambi hits the bottom of the 14th. 1 out. Walk-off. Grand slam. And one of the best games you'll ever see. The Yankees rise from the dead in the bottom of the 14th and win the game 13-12. The Giambino, his proudest moment as a Yankee. They mob him at home plate in one of the wildest finishes you'll ever see.
See, I'm just afraid we don't have that anymore. We're not going to get that kind of excitement. We're not going to get that kind of passion. Just so many guys just sound the same. The Giambino. What a game that was, too, 2018. I remember that game vividly. I remember literally jumping up off my chair when he hit that home run in the rain. It was, it was right out of the natural. It was, now we all know that Jason Giambi was not natural, as it turns out, but it was right out of the natural for sure. Welcome back, Thom Abraham Show. All right, the NBA play-in tournament gets going tonight. I'm erroneous, really, when I say the NBA playoffs start tonight, because they don't call this the playoffs. They call this the play-in tournament. And joining us to talk about it from NBA TV and NBA.com, and I'm sure a connoisseur of great broadcasting, radio broadcasting specifically, as well, is Bo Estes, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Bo, welcome in. How are you?
Thank you, buddy. I got 2 quick items for you. We can call it the postseason. We can go with that, first of all. And I'm so old that John Sterling, to me, is the Atlanta Hawks broadcaster.
Yeah.
I grew up with John Sterling saying Dominique is magnifique. And that was what we heard all over. And
so he did that back then. So he did that same shtick back then with the nicknames.
Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that because he started with the first one with the Yankees was Burn Baby Burn, and that was in 2001. When he really started coming up with the unique home run calls. But so he's always had those. Now, did he say the Braves win? The Braves win! In those 6 or 7 years he did the Braves?
We didn't win a lot back then.
Oh, okay.
No, but, he really was. He brought the energy in the broadcast. And you're right. It sort of seems like a bygone era because we train sort of robot broadcasters now, and there's not as much personality involved, and to me, that's what ties an announcer, particularly if you're doing a hometown broadcast. So many people are more national broadcasters now, or doing the ESPN Plus broadcast. So, but man, for a person to tie himself to his hometown in the way that he did, you think even like guys like Harry Carey tied himself to the Cubs. That's just it's that personality and that passion for me that really, really ties a person. Hometown team.
Didn't go to college, did a little bit of community college, and then got out of there and just went to work at a radio station. He didn't go to the Newhouse School of Broadcasting, where everybody sounds the same. No disrespect, it's a great school. I know many people that have gone there and done well there, and of course many famous broadcasters, the Bob Costases and Dick Stocktons and so on, come out of there. So I'm not picking on them. He wanted to go to Columbia Broadcasting. He went there for a few weeks and then got a job at a radio station and went to work and developed that style of his. Plus, he had a great voice. All the way until he did his last game last week, that voice resonated, 85 years old.
Yeah, and what's the word you heard when you were young, Tom? Reps. It's more meaningful than anything else you can do in the business. But yeah, he was a big part of my childhood. Doing those Atlanta Hawks games for sure.
My youngest son did a UAH baseball game, college baseball game last weekend on a Saturday, a doubleheader.
Nice.
And I was cringing to tune it in. I'm like, do I want to watch? I don't want to get overly critical. It's his first play-by-play ever. He's done color on football and stuff. He's 23 years old. He's an alum of UAH. I'm like, do I want to listen to this? And our program director actually sent me a text and said, you know what, your son sounded pretty good, and because he was like fifth string, it was like, let's get this guy, let's get that guy. Everybody was, and they said, well, let's have John do the game. And I'm like, I don't think he's ready for that. And I listened to like a half an inning, just enough, And I was like, damn, all right, because everybody remembers their very first time, and you stumble through it, and it wasn't bad, So that's good.
You're like the dad his ninth grade son has been called up to varsity to pitch a big game on the mound or something like that.
Exactly.
And you're just, is he ready? I hope he's out there.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, though, that he did well.
Well, it's a TV world, too, you know what I mean? And they're all about video. And these games are also available on YouTube TV. So with his, with or whoever is doing the game, with their broadcast. And so sometimes the young guys, you got to kind of hammer home the point that it's radio, you know what I mean? So, yeah, on the TV feed, we know it's a left-handed batter. But on radio, you need to say he steps into the left-handed batter's box, and give us that information. So, but otherwise, I mean, for the most part, good stuff. But, we're celebrating John Sterling today with our Tuesday Top 10, and you're a Top 10 guy. You do all those Top 10 highlights every night, and we're doing the Top 10 in no particular order, John Sterling calls, and that GM Bino was one of them there. That's good stuff. All right, so we get started tonight, play-in tournament. See, this is what I think the NCAA should do. I think they should get out of this whole first four thing. The NIT is a disaster. I mean, if I was the NCAAs, I would take 16 teams. I would have my 64 that are in, and then I'd take 16 more teams, and I would do an NIT play-in tournament, because then nobody's going to beg out because they got a chance to get to the big tournament, and you would go 16, 8, 4, and then those four teams would become, the 4 16 teams. So you'd have 60 teams in the tournament, and you'd qualify 4 more through a preseason not a preseason NIT, but a play-in NIT tournament. This has got a life of its own, and this has become kind of fun. We were skeptical about it at the beginning, but now it's kind of fun.
Well, if you think about it too, what you're talking about adds another week to the NCAA tournament. In my mind, as you were saying that, I thought, okay, Tuesday for the Sweet 16, Thursday for the 8, Saturday for the 4, and a Monday championship there. And I don't know how you do it, but that.
Well, you don't have to have a champion. You just go to 4. When you get to 4, you stop.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So you only do 2. You do the 16. And then down to 8, and then 8 down to 4. So you do those Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they enter the tournament. They play on Thursday, Friday, depending on when they work. Yeah, because then the 4 become the 4 16 seeds, if you will. You know what I mean?
We always want more live programming. So I do like that. As far as the NBA goes, it's worked out wonderfully, particularly this year. Imagine a scenario where Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors aren't a part of the postseason. That's fantastic for us. It's going to be very challenging for the Golden State Warriors. But, in the East, it's less exciting to some degree because that 9-10 game with Chicago-Atlanta seems really like the two furthest from playoff teams among all the teams that are out there. But in the West, it's really something. And then this Lakers-Pels game tonight is it's a mess of different possibilities, and it's of your interest because the winner of this gets the defending champions and has to go on the road and play a home team in Mile High. So it's all over the place with this Lakers-Pels game, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the 9-10 in the West are two teams that are 10 games over 500. The 9-10 in the East features a Hawk team that's 10 games under 500, and that feels a little swarmy. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, this is an absurdity game between the Hawks and the Bulls. Somebody has to win that game, and move on, and then and then play against. I would think, stay in the East for a moment. I know we got the West tonight, but stay in the East for a moment. You got the 76er team that everybody is saying, look out. I mean, here they are in the play-in. But now that they got Joel Embiid back, they could go a long ways. And the winner of that game between the Heat and the 76ers is going to play my Knicks in the first round, and that could be dangerous.
Well, and Knicks fans are sort of, and Knicks media are pointing out the problem here is that the Knicks work their butt off. Jalen Brunson is an absolute hero in a way that we haven't seen from a Knicks player in a long time. And their reward is they get a Sixers team that is finally getting healthy. And I'll throw a stat out there for you. The Sixers, when Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey play, are 29-7. they are a monster when these two are combined together. So, you know, if the Sixers win tonight and those two guys emerge from this game healthy, the Knicks are going to have a tough task on their hand. It's not going to be easy against those guys. So that's the challenge of it.
But as it is, they were only, Knicks were only 3 games ahead of the 76ers anyway. I mean, 76ers are in a play-in tournament. Knicks are the 2 seed, and there were only 3 games separating those two teams. So, there's that aspect of it. By the way, why isn't Brunson on the Olympic team? I mean, am I missing something? Is he not American or what? I mean, how was that kid not end up on the USA basketball team?
It's interesting because you take off Tyrese Halliburton, I guess, is the obvious choice that you would take off. But that's what you're picking between. And, I can make a case for Jalen Brunson. And there's still one slot open, and he may get that slot. But you got some point guards there already. It's a deep team. The other one is Drew Holiday. Maybe you put Jalen Brunson out there before Drew Holiday. But, I think the Americans have struggled lately in international play. But when they go to the Olympics and put their best out there, they seem to do okay. But, Jalen Brunson would do well on an Olympic team. The other thing I'll say to you is he's a guy that really demands the ball in his hands. And if you put the ball in Brunson's hands, you're taking it out of Kevin Durant's hands. You're taking it out of Joel Embiid's hands. You're taking it out of a lot of really talented guys' hands.
So both games on TNT tonight. It'll be this will be a good night. I mean, that Laker-Pels game, that's a very interesting game. Of course, Golden State and Sacramento as well. And my story. I like to pull for the Kings because they're the Rochester Royals. But back before I was born in the 50s, they were the Rochester Royals. Then they became Cincinnati Royals. Then they went to Kansas City and were the Kings. And then they ended up in Sacramento as the Sacramento Kings. So I'd just call them the Rochester Royals, who did win an NBA championship back in the 50s. So I'm pulling for them. Is this if Sacramento wins that game, and I believe that's in Sacramento, if they win that game, is this the end for Golden State as we know them? I mean, is this finally the end? Are we watching this with a sense of play the one golden moment or whatever that stupid thing is they play at the end of the NCAA tournament is the shining moment? Is this one shining moment now for Golden State and they're done?
I think we're close to that. I really do. I mean, I think, Klay Thompson has spurts where he's really good and not quite as good as himself. Draymond Green is not quite what he once was. Even Steph Curry, he's still incredible, isn't quite where he once was. So I think this team is hanging on. I wouldn't say that they're going to totally blow it up next year, but I can see a big retool. They need another star player to go alongside Steph Curry, someone on the order of a Kevin Durant that can help Steph Curry out because Klay and Dre aren't quite there anymore. Remember, last year, the Warriors and Kings met in these playoffs in the first round. Steph Curry scored 50 in Game 7, and the Warriors beat the Kings. So there's a lot of motivation for your Rochester Royals to get this one done and light the beam in Sacramento. But, for Golden State, it does feel like very nearly the end of the line for this sort of dynasty run.
What do we expect in the Lakers and the Pels? I mean, a lot of people just say, oh, it's the Lakers, it's LeBron, it's Anthony Davis. So automatically we say, okay, they can go on a run here, and maybe they can go on a run here. But what is the expectation for this Laker team as it is constituted right now?
Well, it's an interesting look at the playoffs, just like it is in the East. If the Lakers do win tonight, and I'm not sure they do, they get the Nuggets. They got swept out of the playoffs last year by the Nuggets. Nuggets have beat them in every single game this year. And the Nuggets team, it's almost like a boxing match. They just match up wonderfully against the Lakers and have not just beat them, have a very easy time with them. So what are the Lakers' motivations tonight? Anthony Davis may be healthy, maybe not healthy. I think they want to win this game, but my gosh, that's a tough team that they got to face in Denver out there. And for the Pels, they're much better when Zion and Brandon Ingram are out there together. And those guys appear to be put together now. So I think it'll be an interesting game. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pels win this. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And if they do, and some think that the Lakers will tank this because they want to avoid the Nuggets.
I've heard that. Yeah.
That's been a thought process. I don't think you want to tank any of these games. You want to move on. But if they do, I mean, there's no guarantee that they get through the winner of the Kings-Warriors game. Because, again, these teams are all very, very close. The 4 teams in the play-in tournament in the West are all within 3 games of each other, 2 or 3 games of each other. So this is a pretty competitive little group here to determine who gets to go play the Nuggets and who gets to go play the Thunder.
Well, and the problem with even thinking about tanking, and I really, really don't think they will, but the problem with it is if Golden State emerges, you're just one piece of 48 minutes of a Steph Curry absolute heater from just being done. Because Steph Curry can still go off and score 57 and hit, 11 of 17 threes, and you're out. And there's nothing you can really do about it. So it's a huge risk to even toy around with that idea. And again, I don't think they will, but I just think the risks of these play-ins and this one and done, particularly in that 9-10 game and then the game that follows that, are a real challenge. I expect the Lakers to want to get out of this game. And I expect this Warriors-Kings game to be mammoth. I really look for the energy in Sacramento to be over the top. Look for revenge to be on the mind of those Kings players. They're hurt. There's a lot of injuries in that Sacramento roster. Mm-hmm. But I expect them to really, really come out with a ton of energy and try to get some revenge for last year.
Bo Estes with us here talking a little bit of NBA play-in tournament and NBA playoffs, which begin later on in the week. Now, did they make it easy on us here? Because, some of these times, some of these deals, like with the NCAA tournament, it's so hard to figure out who's playing on what channel and where you find them. Is TNT got the West and ESPN got the East? Is that the way it's going to be all the way through? Yeah. Or, is it, so we can depend on that all the way to the final and then TNT for the final, or does ABC have the final?
Yes, well, we flip-flop, between the East and West, and this year it's TNT on the West, and it'll be ABC with the finals. That's the contract. TBS and CBS split March Madness, and we get the national championship at Turner Sports every other year, and CBS gets it. But the way this contract is with the NBA is that ABC gets the finals every year, or ABC, ESPN, but it's going to be ABC. Okay. So, until our contract's up, you won't be seeing the finals and Inside the NBA and Charles Barkley or anything like that with an NBA finals.
But he will be, because they cannot resist him. Yeah, it happens every year, right? ABC or ESPN, they'll reach out to Barkley, and Barkley will end up being on like the pregame for ABC at some particular as a guest appearance, because you can't resist.
It's good for everybody because he's the best in the business, and everybody wants to hear from him. And the other thing is we have NBA TV. They've shown up at the finals, and we've brought Charles along for that. So you will hear from Charles at the NBA finals. It just won't be inside the NBA.
It's hilarious. I thought he was better this year on the tournament than he had been in years past. I think he's gotten better and better the last few years. But it's that first impressions thing, and people just still they like to lampoon him and Kenny being NBA guys, doing the NCAA tournament. Did you see the bit that Saturday Night Live did?
Yeah.
That was hilarious. I mean, it was. Well, I didn't watch the game, Kenny. I really didn't watch the game.
Like in fairness, how many times is Chuck going to see a Lehigh play during the regular season?
Yeah.
And then there's all the games in the world going on. But he's got a research staff at his disposal that knows how to research for him. So. But it is. I mean, it's a challenge because they just throw that at you in the middle of the year. But I think you're right. He's gotten better, and he knows what's coming.
Well, the other part of it, everybody is losing their mind over, the women's national championship game. Outscored the men's national championship game by 4 million. You know that. And everybody's like, see, it doesn't matter. It could be 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, I'm like, wait a minute. 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon is a hell of a lot better than 9:30 on Monday night. Don't tell me that was a detriment. I think that was one of the pluses that it was that time. But I think the other part of it is, and to Chuck's defense a little bit, this is what's happened over the last now 20 years or so of college basketball. We don't know enough of these guys because there's so many guys that are gone after 1 or 2 years, whereas with the women, they basically all stayed. For 3 or 4 years, they're pretty much there. And so year in and year out, you kind of get to know those people, and you don't on on the men's side because of the best players being young one and done. But yet, what do you got? You got Connecticut winning a national championship with 2 graduate students starting. So, maybe people are going to start waking up to the fact that, maybe it's not so bad to have good players hang around for 3 or 4 years as opposed to having great players be one and done.
I think you're going to see a split. I think you're going to see some of both. There's a guy like Armando Bacot who can make $1 million in NIL money at North Carolina and doesn't seem to have a great NBA future. He'll be a great college player and make a lot of money in college and stick around. So I think you're going to have some guys that they have to do something about the transfer portal.
Yeah.
They have to, because it's going to destroy the fans' relationship with their players. I'm all for players being able to make money and be able to move around if need be. But the transfer portal with every player, moving every single year to a different school who has literally, Tom, they have a better contract offer.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. If somebody's offering me $200,000 and somebody else is offering me $700,000 and I'm that age, it's not a question. But they just have to figure it out.
Yeah.
They have to figure out some way to make that good, because they'll ruin the sport for themselves.
Well, it has to be a contract. I mean, that's the thing. It has to be. It has to be some sort of a contract where you're committed there. I mean, we're seeing the transfer portal has opened up again now, and and we're seeing guys in football that didn't even go to spring practice with the teams that they transferred to 2 or 3 months ago, and they're going back to other places. They're moving again, and in some cases, Alabama, with the number 1 left tackle in the country coming out of high school, plays his freshman year at Alabama, transfers home to Iowa, transfers back to Alabama. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's like it's willy-nilly, and I don't know, who knows? Maybe he'll transfer again before the summer camp happens. I mean, it's just absolutely
and that's
nuts.
the problem, and particularly I think in basketball, where it's 5 guys and maybe 7, 8 guys as a core that for 3 or 4 years, and if they're just moving every single year and you're pulling somebody from somebody else, there's no relationship with that player. There's no connection with that player and the fans. So I think it gets really tough. But I think you're absolutely right. It has to be a contract. They got to be treated as employees, because the reality is that's what they are. So as soon as they get down that road and figure all this out, I think you'll be a lot better off. But again, there's a story out here in the Orange County Register about how NIL goes at a school out here, and it's a mess, because you could be promised $800,000 and get $200,000, but there's no contract with these NIL collectives.
Right.
So it's just whatever happens. Who knows what happens? The other side of it too is whatever the NIL collective gives you is just one thing. You can go out and make a bunch more on your own.
Right.
So, you may want to go to Alabama, and even if they only promise you $100,000 where somebody else is promising you $200,000, but if you can go out and make $500,000 extra on your own, well, my gosh, why not go to Alabama? It's the biggest brand in the sport.
Well, that's why I laughed when people were talking about Caitlin Clark leaving, and they're like, she could stay, if she were to stay in college one more year and she would get all this NIL money. And I'm like, wait a minute, as opposed to what they make in the WNBA, where, the salaries aren't that high, at $75,000 average sale, whatever it is. But I'm like, wait a minute, you guys, don't call it NIL anymore. Just because Caitlin Clark is leaving college and going into WNBA doesn't mean that she still doesn't get quote-unquote NIL money, endorsement money. She's still going to have all kinds of endorsement deals. So it's not like she's giving up, any of the endorsement money because she's leaving Iowa. That's the silly thing that people don't realize. If you're doing a commercial for a watch company, you're still doing a commercial for a watch company, in the WNBA.
It's different than if she's doing a commercial for the Iowa local card.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a different thing.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Clark has crossed over in a way that no other, women's college basketball athlete that I've ever seen had.
Right.
There have been players that have been just as good, but haven't crossed over in the same way. Her jersey sold out in record time, that Indiana jersey. All this stuff is going on with her. And, I don't know that the ratings will be the same next year for the women's tournament without her. I hope there's a boost. I really do. But she changed the game in a way that I've never seen before. And, the ratings are the ratings. And, look, if you want to honestly deal with that, Caitlin Clark was on ABC. The men's game was on TBS. That's seen in like 35, 45, 55 million more homes. So the numbers would be different.
Yeah, but, there's no doubt. And the other part of it is, too, when you look at the total audience that watch that game, and the thought just jumped out of my head. It just literally jumped out of my head. The thought about, I know what it was. So 2 years ago, the WNBA averaged 350,000 a game viewership.
Yep.
They had that 9 million that watched the women's championship game between LSU and Iowa. It was the highest-ranked women's game ever. And then last year, and off of that, the WNBA averaged 500,000 a game. So they went from 350 to 500, a 22% jump, and everybody went nuts. Oh, look, they're up 22%. It was 500,000 compared to 9 million. Now you have a championship game that had 18 million people watching it.
Yep.
Tell me what the WNBA number is going to be. Are they going to get? Are they going to go to 1 million right off the bat? I would not be surprised if you still only had, I don't know, 600,000 or 700,000 people, soccer numbers, really watching the WNBA.
Let me tell you what the WNBA has done, and you will say this is smart. They have made as their national TV games almost every single Indiana Fever game.
Sure.
Yeah. So, of course you do that. And that, particularly early on, if she has some success early on, and I think she will. I think she'll be good. She's not going to be as good as she was in college. But if she has some success early on, they'll do well. The first game numbers will be strong. They definitely will be. I don't think it's going to be anything approaching 18 million. It won't be that first game. But the numbers are going to go up this year just based on her being on people's TV screens. They'll do a good job of marketing that. But it's sort of like the Zion Williamson thing. The numbers will be great at first, but you have to have success. And, he struggled with injuries and stuff like that. And it's sort of the bloom is off the rose a bit as far as it being a media star. She needs to have success. And if she does, she's going to boost the WNBA in a way that we haven't seen. The other thing I'll say is there is some blowback amongst some of the women's pros, Diana Taurasi notably. It reminds me a lot of when Tiger Woods was coming up as a golfer and then other golfers' reaction. I think this is going to be good for all of them because they're all going to make a lot more money because of Caitlin Clark.
No doubt about it. Bo Estes has been our guest. Bo, I hope I can reach out to you once a week or so during the playoffs here, and we'll keep this conversation going.
Absolutely, bud, always.
All right, man, thank you, Bo Estes. All right, we get a break. When we come back, hour number 2, just that fast, and David Moulton is coming up right here in the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, legendary fun, legendary food.
Flying nonstop from Huntsville is a breeze on Breeze Airways. They're nice people flying nice people to nice places on really nice planes. Let's be direct. Nonstop from Huntsville to the places you want to go. Las Vegas, Orlando, or Tampa starting at $49. It's time for a weekend getaway or a long overdue week away. Time to check in using the convenient Breeze app and check out. What are you waiting for? Book today at flybreeze.com. That's flybreeze.com. Breeze Airways. Seriously nice.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flow Supreme Air. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flow tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
Don't let your back or neck pain get in the way. Get back to doing the things you love with the spine and neuro team from Huntsville Hospital. As the most experienced in the area, we have been improving lives in North Alabama for more than 50 years. Whether your favorite fishing hole is on Wilson Lake in the Shoals, Flint Creek, or Lake Gunnersville, Spine and Neuro is nearby to get you back to your best. Visit us online at spineandneuro.com to learn more.
Christine Lisi. Breaking news. Sources tell ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski the Bucks preparing to be without star Giannis Antetokounmpo for the start of their first-round NBA playoff series against the Pacers. They do hope treatment on his calf strain will allow him to play at some point in the series, which does tip off on Sunday. The executor of O.J. Simpson's estate reversed his stance on working to prevent a payout of a $33.5 million judgment awarded by a jury to the families of Simpson's ex-wife Nicole and her friend Ronald Goldman in a wrongful death lawsuit. Attorney Malcolm Laverne told The Hollywood Reporter the claim by Goldman's father will be accepted. Simpson died last week without having paid the lion's share of the civil judgment awarded in 1997 after jurors found him liable for Nicole Brown Simpson's and Ronald Goldman's 1994 murders. NHL, the Sabres fired coach Don Granato after missing the playoffs a 13th consecutive season.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the GBank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
The NBA play-in tournament starts tonight. 2 Western Conference games on the schedule. The Lakers visit New Orleans. LA, a 1.5-point underdog, -115 on the money line. Golden State heads to Sacramento, where the Kings are 3.5-point underdogs, +125 on the money line. Tomorrow, Miami battles Philadelphia. The Heat, the road team, a 4.5-point underdog, +160 on the money line. Then it'll be the Hawks and Bulls at United Center in Chicago. The Bulls by 3.5. Atlanta +130 on the money line. Favorites to win the NBA title: Boston +190, Denver +320, the Clippers and Bucks +1400. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we love baseball almost as much as we love serving up the best and baddest burgers around. People have called our burgers totally insane. And at Bad Daddy's, we take that as a compliment. But it's not just burgers. Up first, starters like our fried pickles, wings, or poblano frites. Second, try one of Bad Daddy's giant chopped salads. Third, our famous chef-inspired burgers with lots of different taste options. And before you head home, finish up with one of our shakes or delicious banana pudding. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Clift Farm in Madison.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
For 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers, and we invest in supporting you. We use our own technologies to automate, to provide you the best support possible. And we have the strongest guarantees in the industry. I just can't tell you I'm going to provide you great support. I have to prove it to you with my actions.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, maybe an isolated shower across the Tennessee Valley, but it looks like the vast majority of us are going to be dry. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s. We're going to drop into the lower 60s as we head into the overnight early into your Wednesday morning. Better opportunity for showers and thunderstorms through Wednesday afternoon. It is going to be a little bit cooler. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Our steady diet consists of food and football, and occasionally some baseball and hoops.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid?
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The opinions of Thom Abraham are not necessarily the opinions of the radio station or anybody associated with the radio station or ownership. These are strictly his own opinions, and sometimes they're not even his opinions.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
The pitch swung on, hit in the air to deep center. Pierre back, away back in deep center. It is gone! Gonzilla! A thriller by Godzilla. Hideki Matsui, the Sayonara Kid, just lost one over the center field fence. A 3-run home run, and the Yankees take a 3-0 lead.
So that's 2003. I don't know that you can get away with that now. You know what I mean? With a Japanese player, I don't know if you could go to Hola Thriller by Godzilla, the Sayonara Kid, and Sterling loved him. Some Hideki Matsui, who hit 140 home runs with the Yankees in the early 2000s. But that is a couple of years after John Sterling really started, with the Burn, Baby Burn, and then moving on from there. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. Whether you're in Alabama, Tennessee, or Florida, it's North Alabama Mortgage. They have you covered for all your mortgage needs. North Alabama Mortgage. Get a home valuation. See what you can do by refinancing or buying new with North Alabama Mortgage's team of experts in your corner. Go to NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. Now, Grizz, what do I have to do to see David? Because I can't see David over here. You can see David over there. But I can't see David over here. That's the only way to do it, for you to show me through the window? Because I'm here.
Yeah, pretty much that's the only way. Because
in a palatial studio. Well, I guess I could put him, if I put the YouTube TV up on over
see him
here.
on there, yeah.
But then it'd be like Godzilla. His lips would be moving one way. It'd be a delay. He'd be talking to me, and it would be a delay. Well, I'm going to show David. I'm going to show our listeners that are watching on WZZN TV. This little baby right here arrived today. This right here, those of you that are watching on WZZN, David Moulton is literally inside this thing right here. This little thing here, David Moulton is inside. Now, when is the engineer coming in, Grizz? You know this, don't you? When's the engineer coming? Do we need the engineer? Can the PD do this?
Today or tomorrow, sometime later day.
Okay. All right. So that means that within days now, Miller and Moulton will be on Talk Radio WZZ on our sister station at 97.7-2. Yes. And it'll be 5 to 7 local time. That's where you'll find that. David joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. David, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now that I have this little box that you are inside of, which is going to allow us to get the Miller and Moulton show, and so we're fired up for that.
I have to admit that it makes me sound like mini-me, if I'm inside a box or something.
Yeah. I don't know how you and Miller will fit in there, to be honest with you, but we know that your voices will be booming out of there. We have had people ask, wait a minute, aren't they on, in Florida, on the Florida Sports Network? And I try to tell them that the show is SEC-centric, and you will have, very similar to when I was doing my show out of Nashville, and I was syndicated into other markets, you will have at least 1 hour of your show, maybe 2 hours of your show that is more local to Florida. So when you're on in the expanded network now here into the Dirty South, it's not like we'll be hearing about the high school football team from Gainesville, that won a game last night against Tallahassee East.
Well, and in fact, the final hour of our show, which will not air in the greater Huntsville area, is usually if we are going to go local, that's when we go. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't apply to Huntsville. But also, since that hour is now going to be heard in Jacksonville, basically none of the show will be quote-unquote local anymore. Right. The show will basically be a regional show.
Right. And so it's not all Gators talk. I mean, it's not going to be. But we are fond of the Gators. We like hearing about what's going on there. But obviously, it is something that is, I would think, SEC-centric and NFL. I mean, that's a topic for everybody, right? Is the NFL. And I know you guys are all over that.
Yeah, we're 24/7, 365 football, pro and college. I mean, we definitely are. But, like yesterday and today, we did do a little NBA and NHL with, the playoffs starting essentially for both this week and this weekend. So, our show, and Tom, you walk this line also. When you're local, you do a local show. Yeah. When you're national, you do a national show. When you do a show like ours, you're in the middle.
Right.
Our show should be a good alternative to a national show, in that we're actually going to talk SEC and ACC and stuff that people in Huntsville and surrounding areas are more interested in than talking about the Yankees and the Cowboys and the Lakers.
Yeah. Well,
okay, but is our show going to be as local as yours? No.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, as I tell people often, look, we're in the entertainment business. At the end of the day, I mean, to me, and I've always been this way. You've known it. You've known me for long enough to know that that's the way that I roll. It's man radio, really, with sports as our backdrop, which is what you get. I mean, that's what happens. It's like hanging out at the bar and talking sports. And sometimes you might end up talking about a movie, or you might end up talking about women, or you might end up talking about this or that. Right. And it's man radio, and that's what it is.
My co-host yesterday had a fine line to walk. Okay, he is the Mr. Mom of his family. Mm-hmm. His wife is more the breadwinner because she's a veterinarian. So she earns 6 figures and works more than he does. So he's the one who picks her up from school, takes her to her sporting events and what have you. Well, he's a big Detroit Red Wings hockey fan, and they haven't played a meaningful game in 8 years, but they played one last night. And so he had a very difficult line to walk last night. He had to be there for his daughter, but whom he would take a bullet for, obviously, but he really wanted to watch the Wings. So, we did a cute few minutes about, walking that line as a dad, in which, your daughter is priority A, except for the rare occasion when she becomes 1B.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do we not offend her? How do we not have her tell her mom what was going on? But I really need to watch this game.
I have a problem. I have many problems, but I have a specific problem. My youngest daughter, is pregnant with our 15th grandchild, and her baby shower is on May 11th, Now, when I heard that the baby shower was on May 11th, I was like, oh, perfect, because I have a fishing tournament on May 11th. And that just works out perfect. And my wife can go to the shower, and I'm going to go fish in the tournament with my son.
Right.
And away we go, right? Yeah, except for this is a new thing now. Oh, no, Dad. This is the men and the women. I'm like, no, it's a baby shower. And they're like, oh, no, this is couples, all couples are coming. All your sons are all coming to this thing, and your son-in-laws are all coming to this thing. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. It's a baby shower.
No.
Yeah.
You're right. But this is when, first off, you go, hey, it was only a few years ago you were on the payroll. And B, I'm old school. I mean, that's what you say.
Yeah.
No, you go fishing.
It ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you right now.
What do you mean it's not gonna happen?
I can't.
You bankrolled a softball team.
It's her
Besides,
first.
your wife loves you, but only so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
come on, she doesn't want to spend it with you.
First baby for her and her husband. I actually called her husband and chastised him because he's my favorite son-in-law. He's an outdoorsman and he does very well in business, and he's a great guy. And I called him. He was in a deer stand at the time when I called him, and I said, "You so-and-so." I said, "Why are you allowing this? That men have to come to a baby shower?" "Oh no, it'll be great. I said, "No, it won't be great." I said, "Because I'm missing a fishing tournament because I got to come to a baby shower now because otherwise I'm the a-hole that didn't go to his daughter's baby shower." I said, so I gave him a hard time, but I couldn't get him off it.
See, Tom, I think you need to draw the line in the sand because there's going to be future kids. And if you go to this one, you got to go to all the rest. So I think you just say, I'm old school. Sorry.
Yeah.
Also, you can just say, I don't know what to tell you. I booked the other event first.
Yeah, which I did. I mean, that is a true story.
Also, just say, it's non-refundable. Make up throw an extra $1,000 on top of how much it costs you. I mean, do what you got to do, Tom. Come on.
David Moulton with us here. You heard the John Sterling cut. His career is over. I know that people who aren't Yankee fans probably hate the guy, but look, we got to have anybody that's a broadcaster, anybody that's ever stood in front of a mic and called a game. You got to have appreciation for John Sterling and the uniqueness. And we lose another unique type guy. I've listened to the guys that have been filling in for John Sterling. A couple of more, Newhouse School of Broadcasting all sound exactly the same type of guy. I might as well have AI doing the game. But just thoughts on, from a Mets fan, thoughts on the great John Sterling hanging it up after 64 years in broadcasting.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, the broadcaster in me, to have that long of a career, he did Islanders games, he did Hawks games, he did Braves games, and now obviously 36 years with the Yankees. Remarkable. There's no doubt he's your guy if you're a Yankees guy. If you're not a Yankees fan, you may listen to him and go, man, he's very shticky. And to be honest, when you think of the Yankees, the preeminent pro sports franchise in North America, you think they should have their Vin Scully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, John Sterling was completely 180 degrees from Vin Scully. John Sterling was almost a routine.
Yeah. Yeah, he was John Sterling doing John Sterling. He was the anti-Vince Scully, but he was your guy, our guy. He was that every night. I mean, it was, I can't tell you. And the advent of the MLB app, allowing us now to listen to it, I think radio's in a renaissance with baseball right now because you can listen for $9 a month. You can listen to any baseball broadcast anywhere around the country. I jumped from the Yankee broadcast to the Cleveland Indian broadcast when the Yankees were playing the Indians over the weekend because I wanted to hear Mike Hamilton doing a game, which was much more entertaining than hearing the two kids that they had doing a Yankee game. And so it is really that app and that ability with satellite radio and so on to listen to out-of-market baseball now is really something. I mean, we're a Braves affiliate, so Braves fans can listen to the Braves right here on 97.7. Right. But if you're a fan of anything else, and we're such a transient community now, it's really neat to be able to listen to your guy whenever you're, not available to watch a game on TV, or even if you are available to watch it on TV.
Well, and I felt a little bit that way when Eli was pushed out. I mean, John left on his own accord, but, to me, we should not be in a hurry. I was glad that CBS stuck by Vern as long as they did. I mean, he did the SEC until he was about 76 years of age. And, they kept him with the Masters until the age of 83. And, there are times in which people complained about Vern. Oh, he screwed up a name or he's lost his fastball. But then at the end of the day, they were like, oh, no, don't replace him with, and like you said, another, just what we need, another 30-year-old from Syracuse.
Yeah.
We should really be in a hurry to hear another 30-year-old from Syracuse.
How about the guy doing a Yankee game is 24 years old?
Well,
I mean,
I will
24.
say this, though. A nice ode to Sterling last night. A former New York sportscaster is now doing the Angels.
Yeah.
And when Trout homered, he gave it John Sterling's home run call.
Yeah.
And also when the Islanders scored the put-away goal last night against the Devils, and John Sterling hadn't done an Islanders game since the late 70s, but that sportscaster at least had the wherewithal to find out what Sterling's Islanders goal call was, and he called that goal the way John Sterling used to. I mean, that's a sign of respect.
Yeah.
What is interesting is every single person with John Sterling's resume, though, has won the Ford Frick Award and is in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He, I don't think, has ever even been nominated. So you could tell that his peers view him as a little bit of a vaudeville act.
He needs to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Look, there's a lot of guys. You could say Harry Carey was a vaudeville act. And I say that knowing that Josh Carey, his grandson, is the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And Josh, if you're listening, and I know he listens, I don't mean no disrespect. But but Harry Carey was a vaudeville act. I mean, he was wildly entertaining and unique. Did not go to college for broadcasting, like Sterling did not go to college for broadcasting. We're losing these guys. And to me, a guy like this has... he has Hall of Fame chops. I mean, I just believe that. 64 years. I mean, come on, 36 years with the Yankees, all the championships he called, and was the first guy to work alongside a woman with Susan Waldman
But it's not like John. I mean, you're giving John a lot of credit. You're giving him credit for the Yankees championships.
I mean, called those games
for working with Waldman. I mean, he had nothing to do with either. He just did the games.
Right, but it showed his professionalism that he was able to. And a lot of guys would have struggled with that, maybe. But John, he was able to adjust to it.
Tom, George Steinbrenner called the shots. If George Steinbrenner told you who you worked with, I mean, come on now.
Yeah, he is in the New York State Broadcasters Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yeah.
In 2016.
But listen, there's no doubt. Like Vern is damn near. Al Michaels is probably the end of that era.
Yeah.
Vern and now Al Michaels, and then you've got the Nance, Joe Buck. And I guess Tirico will slide into that era of national broadcasters, and then then everybody else is going to be. A bunch of 35-year-old kids from Syracuse.
I don't know all the local guys, so, I mean, we'd have to see the local guys, but I don't know. I mean, those guys you just mentioned, even Joe, who you know very well, obviously, and you think of some of the other guys, Jim Nance. Is there a calling card? Is there a certain type? Is there something? Now, with Nance in the Masters, obviously, you've got, tradition like no other, and we get that. But hello, friends. People will use that, for Jim Nance. But I'm thinking with Buck, is there a particular calling card of Joe? Even Brent Musburger, had the "You are looking live." I mean, I don't know what Buck's thing is, if there is a thing, and it's okay for there not to be a thing.
I don't think Joe has a call.
Yeah.
I mean, he did 24 World Series, and he never, I don't think called the big moment the same every time. I mean, he only used his dad's line, I think, twice in a 24-year, career of calling the World Series in terms of we'll see you tomorrow night. So no, Joe didn't really have a call. Joe's thing was, he's just really good. Nance has got a couple of things. Nance kind of scripts his calls at the very end.
Yeah.
Okay, that's his thing.
I think with Joe,
some people don't.
I think what you get with Joe is a genuine feeling that he is having fun. When he introduces Troy and he has that smirk, and you feel like they're having a really good time. And I think that Joe has a really good sense of humor. I mean, that's the thing that it feels like. It feels like he realizes he's doing baseball and he's not calling the Hindenburg. You know what I mean?
Well, and the funny thing, though, Tom, is that when he was younger, and, pardon my language here, but people viewed that as him being a smartass.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, look at that young kid, and he's only there because of his dad, and, and blah, blah, blah. But you're right. I mean, Joe's, I guess, a little more mature now, but Joe wants us to be relaxed and to have fun as a broadcast group in the booth.
Yeah.
He does. It's important to him.
Yeah, no doubt about
it. Joe's actually the guy in the booth that checks on everybody else. How you doing? You okay? Joe wants us to be one big happy family.
Yeah.
Okay. And there are times in which we even look at him and go, hey, just you do your thing. Let me do mine. Okay. But Joe's into having fun. The very first U.S. Open I did with Joe, true story, it's a half hour before we're going on at Oakmont in 2016. And all of a sudden, we just got done doing a rehearsal, and Joe unhooks himself and goes over and finds a runner and takes a bunch of money out of his pocket and hands it to him, and the runner heads off. And I'm like, what the heck's going on here? 8 minutes before we're about to go on the air, the runner comes back with about 15 full beers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, into the booth.
Wow.
And there's like 20 of us in the booth.
Oh, so you bought a beer for everybody.
Yeah, well, almost.
Yeah.
And so now we're all hooked up. We're all ready to go. And Joe goes, oh, everybody, let's go. So we all unhook. And we all go off camera. And Joe pours us all about 8 or so ounces of beer into a cup. Okay, let the runner keep the leftover money, which was probably a couple $100.
Yeah.
Okay, pours us all about 8 ounces of beer, and then gives a toast. And it's like 4 minutes to 11 a.m., and we're going on at 11. And Mark Loomis, the producer, is on the two-way going, where the is everybody? Get back, hook up to your things. And Joe's like, don't worry about it. We'll be fine. And Joe gives a toast. And Joe's toast was, listen, we're going to work 4 long days here. Let's have fun. It's only effing television. And we toast and we all guzzle our 8 ounces of beer and we all go, we hook back up and we do 4 long days of the U.S. Open.
There you go.
That's Joe.
Yeah. David Moulton with us here. All right. Before I let you go, can you think of a time, and we'll talk more NFL draft next week is draft week. Can you think of a time? By the way, do you still do your thing? Because I ripped it off from you. Where we would have 32 listeners, be 32 GMs, and we do a big draft show and all that stuff. I ripped that off from you years ago and ended up doing some huge draft shows at places like Dave & Buster's or Baumhauer's or like that. And I didn't do it once the show became syndicated. It was harder to do. But when I was just doing one market, we did that. And I was actually thinking about bringing it back. Do you still do anything like that where you have listeners call in and make a draft pick?
We don't, because my co-host, when we hooked up, we were each doing our own separate thing, and I put us together. And he said, I'll only do it under one condition. We eliminate the fan draft.
I liked
it. He hated it.
Yeah, he hated it.
He hated it because the fans always propose like the craziest trades. Like we had a draft one year that you were in Southwest Florida, in which in the top 6 picks, Warren Sapp and Michael Strahan both got traded.
Yeah. Well,
so our drafts got a little crazy. The thing that we used to do when we were in the afternoons, the day before the draft, we lined up beat writers for every team.
Right.
And they made the picks. And they were on hold, so they would know who was taken, and they would go, well, ideally they would want, J.J. McCarthy, but since he was taken, they'll settle for Joe Alt, the tackle from Notre Dame. And so we would do the day before the draft, the beat writers draft. And it was probably, in terms of quality content, the best show we did all year.
I try not to ask questions about stuff I haven't researched, and I need to research just a little bit more going into next week. But can you, off the top of your head, can you think of a quarterback that went 2? Like quarterbacks are going to go 1-2, maybe 1-2-3, maybe 1-2-3-4. So can you think of a guy that went 2 that ended up better than the guy that went 1? Because ultimately,
Donovan McNabb
and Tim Couch, it was 1.
Donovan McNabb went 2, Couch went 1, Achilles Smith went 3.
Yeah, so McNabb, that's a good one. That's a good, because ultimately you get a scenario like when it was Peyton Manning and and Ryan Leaf. You know,
right.
they made it right. And it was Drew Bledsoe. Was that Rick Myra and Drew Bledsoe? I think those two guys.
Yes.
And Myra ended up the Rookie of the Year with Seattle, and then he went into the witness protection program. We never heard from him again. Whereas and Bledsoe had a nice career.
First year, remember, it was Andrew Luck and it was RG3, and RG3 won Rookie of the Year.
And RG3 was 2. Andrew Luck was 1, and RG3 was 2. Andrew Luck should still be playing right now, and probably the Colts have won a Super Bowl. Yeah.
You know, a little more recently, Goff went 1, Carson Wentz went 2. Wentz was the better player early until he got hurt late in year 2. I mean, Wentz was about to win league MVP in December of his second year when he got hurt.
And he got the huge contract and then hasn't done it. And ironically, now is a Los Angeles Ram where Goff was originally. I mean, it's consensus Caleb Williams 1. We're seeing a lot of Drake May starting to pop into 2 slot as opposed to Jaden Daniels. I really like Jaden Daniels.
Daniels, May, and McCaffrey there are all in Washington today meeting with ownership and the general manager and Dan Quinn. So they're, you know, the final recruiting visit, if you will, that Washington is conducting.
Right.
I think they're going to go Daniels too. I would go Daniels. And in fact, I think Caleb will be a bust in Chicago. I don't think he's equipped for Chicago. He also takes a sack once every 4 times he's blitzed. He's not a drop back, plant your back foot throw guy. He runs around. He plays a lot of hero ball. He's not going to be on the best offensive unit. His coach is going to get fired after year 1. He's going to have a whole new staff year 2. I think they are setting him up for failure, just like they've set up all their young quarterbacks in the last 20 years, to be brutally honest. I think Jalen Daniels would handle Chicago fine. I mean, come on. You play the year he had last year in the SEC and not throw an interception against SEC teams. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously?
Well, look at Caleb. And again, I'm very concerned about Caleb Williams. The last big game he won will be the next one. It's just, I mean, his record against the good teams is,
Patrick Mahomes never had a winning season in college. I mean, I think you can ride a little too much into winning.
That was
Sometimes
Texas Tech,
you just play on teams that have better personnel, or you play on teams that have worse personnel.
Yeah, but this is different. I mean, Oklahoma and USC, he played for 2 blue bloods. This isn't Texas Tech, or something like that. You know what I mean? So
I get it. And there are certainly questions about how good of a teammate he is. Is he a leader? You know, I mean, there were a lot of USC players who played the bowl game, won it, and talked about how much fun they had to be a team again.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have my concerns about him. And Chicago hasn't even interviewed anyone else. They haven't given any other quarterback a physical. So, I mean, there's no doubt here. I don't know why Chicago just doesn't sign him tonight.
Yeah, right. Why haven't they announced it?
Just sign him. Just get it done. There is no, mystery here. Just do it.
Do they still do that? I wonder if
you can. If you're
can
on
you still
the
do
clock,
that?
If you're on the clock, they could have signed him a month ago.
Yeah. Maybe ESPN and the NFL Network and stuff are asking, just hang on, give us the intrigue of that night, just in case, the thought that possibly they go in a different direction. I don't know. We'll see. I would not be stunned if I found out a year from now that the quarterback that got picked 4th, 5th, or 6th ended up having a better career than some of the guys that are going to go 1-2. I'm a little concerned about Drake May as well. I'm a big Bo Nix fan, and I think he has an interesting skill set. And once he got out of his daddy's shadow at Auburn, and J.J. McCarthy is a very interesting look as well. It's going to be something to see. All right.
Well, and I know guys who think Penix is the first or second best quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. Injury issues there, but yes.
But
if he's right.
He had the last 2 seasons, he took every snap. He threw 400 passes in back-to-back years. I mean, if you haven't been hurt in 3 years, do you think the injury bug is a little unfair?
So
he hasn't been hurt since 2021.
Yeah, that's a good point. Our goal is to have you on the air for draft week. All right, so Monday is our target, and if the guys do what the guys need to do, there should be no problem whatsoever here in today or tomorrow with the engineers to get this thing working, testing it, and so on. And our goal is that Monday morning you guys will officially debut on Talk Radio WZZN, and you can go crazy. So we'll look forward to it. I'll have to tune in.
Well, I mean, that's all if you can just get me out of that little box.
You're in this little box. It's right here. We got him. He's right in here, folks. We actually have it now. We have the thing that we needed to get it done. This cost more than the contract that it was to get David I've had to not tell him what we're paying Miller because I just don't want to start a bidding war between the two guys. You know what I mean? So David.
Oh no, I let him know.
Yeah.
Okay, we each make the same amount of money. Zero, zilch, bubkiss. Right.
You're making a big assumption.
You guys try.
You don't know. You're making a big assumption.
You drove a hard bargain. I mean, I'm hoping. Like Ludwig Oberg there in the Masters when he hit it stiff on 14 and he grabbed the sandwich and stuffed it in his mouth. That's what Miller and Moulton are hoping for. Every 3 months, you send us like a sandwich.
It's
That'd
like
be great.
it's like when Bob Uecker was being looked at, and the scout told his dad. $5,000. We could sign him for $5,000. And his father said, we don't have that kind of money. So it'd be one of those kind of deals. All right, man. I appreciate you. And we will get you to town. At some particular point in time, we'll figure out a way to get you to town. We got all the equipment you need, so you could be off doing if you're doing a game in Knoxville, if you're doing a game in – oh, that's right. You're in the Big Ten now. We probably won't get you to town. Oh, wait a minute. If you're doing a Monday night game in Nashville – no, you're not going to be – Nashville's not making a Monday night football.
No, we usually –
Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, they try to get us to every city once if they can, or at least see every team once. And I've only been to Nashville between Fox and ABC. I've only been once in 6 years, so we're due to go to Nashville. Haven't been to Atlanta, but once in the last 4 years. So don't worry.
Hey, they're over and under. Atlanta's over and under is 10.5. There's a lot of excitement about Atlanta. If Atlanta's going to get a Monday Night Football game this year, so we'll definitely get you there.
I agree with that. The other thing I agree with is that people who I trust who analyze schedules think that in fact somebody came out yesterday Warren Sharp, whose analytics I really like, and he said that the Falcons will play the easiest schedule in the league this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 11-6 is definitely in play, maybe even 12-5. Who knows with the Falcons or with Kirk Cousins? We'll have to see. All right, man. I appreciate you as always. Great stuff. Welcome to the team, almost officially. And when we talk next week, it'll be official.
Do we get shirts? I mean, do we get anything? Can I wear anything?
We'll send you a hat. We'll send you a nice.
No, don't send me a hat. I don't wear hats. Okay. Also, my head's the size of a watermelon.
Yeah, you are a Joe. You got a Joe Rose head.
Hat. Yeah. That's big enough. Here's the deal. If you got a shirt, I'll probably fit into a 2X, but if you have a size called Manatee, send it to me.
All right. So we'll hook you up. Well, listen, with me on the staff, 3Xs are in play.
Oh, so I know that.
Yeah, so we'll
basically,
have to hook you up.
If you got an Abraham shirt, send it to me.
This is a 2X, by the way, that I'm wearing. Those of you that are watching, I think this one here is a 2X. This is a beautiful little button-down number.
We're going to have Miller and Moulton gear. And it's going to be XL, double XL Manatee.
And they always ask me, David, and David knows that nobody has been a self-promoter like me over the years. As you can see here, he's looking at. You can see here, those of you that are seeing the 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But on the sleeve, always the Thom Abraham Show logo. That's right, baby.
Oh, okay.
Always.
I thought it'd be a sponsor.
No. That's the Thom Abraham Show logo right there on the sleeve. No, sponsors come and go. That Bulldog stays. But appreciate you as always. Great stuff.
All right. Be good, guys.
Right, thanks. David Moulton. All right. We got to get a break in here. It is a sauna in here. I'm going to be a 1X by the time this show is over. I don't know what the hell's going on. Have you put it back on yet?
Yes, I've tried, and
it still won't fire.
No, I can hear it firing, but I don't have any air coming through the vents.
Why would it freeze? It wasn't that warm.
The line froze. I don't know.
Yeah, but it should be thawed by now. I'm thawed by now.
Yeah. I'll try to figure it out.
See if we can make it to the end of the show. It's hotter than the hubs of hell up here in the sports attic where we brought. I'm going to go downstairs during the break. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to do a remote from downstairs in the conference room. How about that? All right, we'll come back. Open lines next. Is the Phillip still there? We'll talk to the Phillip. It's always fun to talk to the Phillip. We'll do that next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
Y'all the best, man. Hey, just don't make sure I don't get that Moron flag.
No, sir. Not at all.
Thanks, Coach. Oh, Ronnie Stapler joining us. No, Coach, you are not going to get the moron of the year plaque.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 The Zone.
AL cert number 21014.
Are those high utility bills driving you crazy this time of year? If they are, Talent Heating and Air has the special for you.
That's right. We're going to run a $49 spring checkup on your system. We're going to come out, we're going to check those heat kits, make sure that everything was working through the winter right, and then we're going to also make sure your Freon's good, make sure that you're ready for the summertime.
How important is that to be done this time of year?
It's really the most important time of the year. We can avoid safety concerns caused by wintertime use, and then we can also make sure that you're ready for the summertime.
And to get ready for the summertime, you just got to call
256-503-4490.
Or you can find them online at
talenthvac.com.
That's Talent Heating and Air. One more time,
256-503-4490.
Talent Heating and Air. Let them save you money.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough, we can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Looking for your next game day party destination? Well, think outside the box and kick back at Flow Supreme Air. And you may be thinking, isn't that the trampoline place? Of course it is. But it's also the one-stop spot for all things fun. And if kicking back with the boys to watch the game is your jam, then you're in the right spot. Jump or not, Flow tends to all ages, meaning while you sit back and watch the game, but little Jimmy's having the time of his life perfecting that front flip he most definitely wants to show you. You got this, Jimmy. So next time you think Flow, think fun for everyone.
Valley Equipment Rental has grown by leaps and bounds over the past year and is adding more and more equipment to their already impressive fleet. Valley is a locally owned family equipment rental business serving the entire Tennessee Valley. They concentrate on the local contractors, building repeat business and specializing in long-term rentals for their local contractors. The benefit of long-term rental is that they stay on top of their assets. If something you own goes down in a field, you have to stop and fix it before you can finish the job. With Valley Equipment Rental, they will fix it on site or bring you another machine while that one's being fixed. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and asking for the owner. That's if you can even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
equipment needs, it is Valley Equipment Rental. Nothing is better than Valley Equipment Rental, and they are there for you, and I'll make sure that they'll get you the equipment that you need to get the job done right. Whether it's a large excavator or a bulldozer, they've got those at the north location for your contractors. Or maybe it's, you know what, maybe you're building a pond, okay? Maybe you got some land, you're building a pond, you need an excavator or you need a dozer to build the pond properly. You go to Valley Equipment Rental. And if you're a contractor, you better think about long-term rentals, because that's what they do at Valley Equipment Rental, and they'll make sure they keep you in the finest equipment throughout. They just do a tremendous job. Let's go to the lines. The Philip, speaking of Mets fans. Philip, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey.
Hey.
We're catching up with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we're catching up with you.
Catching up.
Good to hear from Moulton. If Moulton is as close as I can get to Troy, I need to speak to Moulton. At some point, somehow, some way.
Well, what you need to do
is he like, oh no, I'm gonna take calls. Is he one of those guys?
No, but I think Troy really values his privacy. He's kind of a private guy, you know. But
I'm not asking for Troy.
Oh, yeah.
Although I'm asking for Troy, I'm talking about Moulton.
Yeah.
I said if Moulton is as close as I can get to Troy.
Oh, yeah.
Then I speak to Moulton.
Well, I tell you what you want to do is next Tuesday, call the show, and I'll put you on with David, because they don't take calls on their show, which debuts here next week, allegedly, over on our sister station on Talk Radio WZZN. But they don't take calls. But we absolutely can put you on the air with David during our show, and that would be fun. So
okay.
Next Tuesday.
All right.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of news.
Yeah? What do you got?
It's not pleasant. It's a bladder sort of thing.
Yeah.
Who I just lost a very dear friend to just a few months ago. So, fellas out there, be checking.
A bladder thing, did you say? Okay. I said a ladder thing, but a bladder thing.
Yeah.
It's not the big C, is it?
It's very possibly, yes. They're fixing to do surgery.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right. Well,
not pleasant, happy thoughts. And I don't want to leave you with that. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. Well, we'll
so I will I'll try and check in Tuesday with Moulton.
When will you know more about this situation?
Later, after Tuesday next week.
Okay. All right.
Things don't just go flip, 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 flip like you kind of want them to sometimes, you know?
Right. I hear you.
It's like my Mets right now, you know, they're
up and down,
floundering, but they're coming back.
Right.
And, but yeah. Hey, question.
Yeah.
So I was watching some old Troy stuff, interviews on Dan Patrick Show.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever watched Larry Allen bench lift 700 pounds?
I've seen that video from years ago, yes. I mean, that's crazy.
Talk about somebody you want on your side. I can't just, oh, man, that blew me away.
Yeah.
And Troy loved Larry Allen so much and loves him still to this day. I mean, what a great teammate. But good gosh almighty, 700 pounds. And have you ever watched his highlights where he chased that dude down?
Yeah, they say that his athleticism and his ability to run was remarkable for a guy his size. It was incredible.
Troy threw one. It was tipped off at the line or tipped at the line, and dude intercepted it, and he thinks he's going in. And here comes big old 73 and just ran him down like he was his personal somebody to run down. It was just remarkable to watch. But anyway.
Well, we're thinking of you. We'll put you on our prayer list, and we'll make sure that, our thoughts are with you for sure. And keep us posted on what's going on with that.
Well, thank you very much. I will.
All right.
But yeah, I'll try and get on with the Moulton.
Yeah, get on with Moulton next week. Yeah, he brushes. He touches elbows with Troy every Monday night.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's
Right
very annoying because he should be bringing him to the platter. Do you have a problem with introducing, number 8 beer?
Introducing number 8 to who?
Number 8 beer.
Oh, number 8 beer? No. Are they still making it? Are they still making this beer?
Oh, yeah. And they are expanding. They're leaving Texas, fixing to open up in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And, bigger and better things.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah, that's kind of the angle I think you got to go in with Troy.
Yeah, tell them I want to promote number 8 beer. That'll work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would do great in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Alabama, all over the South.
Yeah.
How can you not love Troy Aikman? Is there a human being that just goes, he's a piece of crap? Is there? I can't imagine.
I don't know of anybody that doesn't like Troy Aikman. Yeah, it just doesn't seem like that guy.
All right.
All right. Appreciate you.
Love you. See you, bye.
All right. Kinder, gentler Philip right now, doesn't he? He's telling me he loves me. I had another buddy tell me that today when he ended a phone call. I don't say back to him, "Yeah, love you. I love you too."
I say it.
To who?
To friends, buddies,
Guys?
family. Yeah. Love you, man.
You never said love
Come
you
on.
to me.
You got it.
You never once have said.
I actually have on the phone.
You never said that
no,
you love me.
I have on the phone before. On the phone. I have before.
You
Yes.
said love you?
I have said love you on the phone before.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember.
That is a lie. That is a bold lie right there. I'm serious. I have said it before to you.
My buddy, he leads
No,
our,
I must keep saying it to you.
He leads
It doesn't weird you out.
He leads our Bible study, and at the end of Bible study, everybody holds hands and we do. We close.
What's wrong with?
We close with a prayer.
Yeah.
He'll like close
Closing
with a prayer.
Yeah.
And he always reaches over to grab my hand, and I fist bump him. I just do this over here. I just fist bump him, and it's funny. And he's a hugger. He likes that. And he's a big guy. He's an officer. He's a wildlife officer, and he's a big hulk of a man. I mean, he's 6'3",
Gotta be a lumberjack,
300 pounds. Yeah, he's a big hulking guy. But he's a hugger, and he's like, man, I see it. He wants to give me a bro hug, and I'm like, get off of me. I'm like, he's one of my best friends, and I'm like, get the hell off of me.
I think every time I see a coach, like someone that's been like a positive, there's a hug. There's a hug coming.
I have 4 sons. We don't hug.
You got
We don't
to.
ever
They
hug
need
my
one. There's been plenty of movies and I feel like books and stuff written about how like a dad never hugs their son and how that's literally what they want.
I don't hug my sons. I don't hug my dad. I fist bump with my sons, but that's about it. Natty Danny is next. Danny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I do like Phillips with the edge. Danica, I like that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
Philip, get better because I want to see the nasty Philip, all right?
Yeah.
But I will say, Philip, you know what? I got no problem with Troy Aikman. I always like to drink 8 beers. Not a problem.
That's what I thought he said 8 beers. I'm like, no,
yeah, so I thought
beer.
he said, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in for crying out loud. Yeah. But no, Philip, it's all good, brother. Just, take care, get healthy. And something, Philip? You know as well as I do, Tom. I live large, natty danny Wolverine life. Okay, I grab the gusto every day. You know that, okay?
Yeah.
And you know why? Because you never know, okay? And and you got your grandchildren, you got your children. I love Chad. Chad's my son, my second son on the air. That's Chad. So it's not, love's okay, Tom.
Love you, Danny.
I love. No. I'm not saying I don't love all of these people. I mean, I just don't say I love you. I don't say I love you. I don't hug guys. I don't hold hands during the prayer with the guys.
Come on, for crying out loud! I'm about as much as you could get. And I used to.
You were a hairdresser for God's sakes.
So
I mean,
what?
that doesn't make you macho.
I got busy, baby. I was always.
You don't mess with the Zohan.
So, but listen, the reason why I did call in my closing, let's talk about these sportscasters. Ernie Harwell.
Very good.
Know as well as he was one of the greats.
One of the all-time greats.
he used to say is he stood there like a house by the side of the road on a call 3 strike.
Yeah.
I love that, okay? And then he's the guy that does the original Long Gone. That was Ernie, okay? Yeah. Ernie could be like those, and you know what I'm talking about, those broadcasters that could paint a Picasso on air, that they had you every word, every sentence they said, Tom. And to this day, I miss that guy dearly. I don't listen to a lot of sports on the air. I had to on Saturdays when I deliver mail for I listen to my Michigan Wolverines. But listen, I'm telling you, the Tiger games were special to me. Okay,
yeah.
Maybe I should start listening to the Braves because he's a pretty good announcer, but he's not Ernie Harwell, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get anybody like that.
No, you're not. The days of those kind of guys that didn't go to school for broadcasting, that are just broadcasters, that's gone. It's just we're not going to see it anymore.
You know, here's the sad thing, and I'm not closing. The sad thing, a lot of these youngins hadn't been around like you and I, heard these broadcasters and lived sports and the sport athletes, how wonderful they were and everything.
Right.
It's a totally different ball game, Tom. And, it's a shame they all can't get back the way it used to be because money ruins everything. Money really does ruin everything. You give somebody too much and they're greedy and they want more and they say, well, I don't have to do that little charity work. Or I don't have to do this or be a professional on the diamond or in the field. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. All right, I got to get a break in there. Appreciate you. We got to get, what we got to do? We got to get Philip here for a remote this summer. We have to get Philip here for a remote this summer. Somehow, some way, we got to get him here. All right, we get a break. We'll come back. Final segments next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner, unmatched in the North Alabama area. It is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping destination for Auburn and Alabama fans. Get your baseball gear, graduation gifts, or cheer on your team with the newest apparel, hats, and accessories for the entire family. Shop the newest collection of top brands like Nike, Adidas, Champion, Columbia, Yeti, New Era, plus 2 for $38 shirts. Sign up for the Alumni Hall Pass rewards and earn $10 for every 150 points accumulated. Come see us at Alumni Hall near Belk in the Bridge Street Town Center. Alumni Hall, where the best fans shop.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, we love baseball almost as much as we love serving up the best and baddest burgers around. People have called our burgers totally insane. And at Bad Daddy's, we take that as a compliment. But it's not just burgers. Up first, starters like our fried pickles, wings, or poblano frites. Second, try one of Bad Daddy's giant chopped salads. Third, our famous chef-inspired burgers with lots of different taste options. And before you head home, finish up with one of our shakes or delicious banana pudding. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar on the Parkway in Huntsville and Clift Farm in Madison.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
segment of the show brought to you by TOC Sports. TOC, they do a tremendous job at TOC. They have got specialists for every part of your body, and they cover all of the Tennessee Valley. They are North Alabama's largest sports medicine provider. It's TOC Sports. Stay in the game with TOC Sports. Grumpy says, I'll make this easy. I pledge the first $100 for the Phillips airfare, and if he flies into Nashville, I'll pick him up and drive him to the remote and return him to Nashville. So Grumpy says he's in to help get Phillip here for a remote. That will be good. Also from the text window, Badger Larry says, I don't like Troy when he's calling a Cowboy game. He's a homer, especially when they're playing the Packers. You see, everybody thinks that.
Says a homer.
Yeah, everybody thinks that when the Cowboys are playing their team and Troy is on the game, that makes you feel like, you know, he's against your guy. You know, he's against your guy. Text window. I like that that Bob Uecker joke about the $5,000. Yeah, that's an old line. It's a great line. When Bob Uecker always tells a story about the scouts came to his house and they said to his dad, "Look, we can sign him for $5,000." And the father says, "We don't have that kind of money." That's outstanding. That's a baseball story that has been told for a long, long time. Carrie in Scottsboro says, I'll take a hat. Well, let me tell you something. Everybody who participates in our WZZN charity golf tournament to benefit Make-A-Wish Foundation on May 13th at Cherokee Ridge, everybody's going to get their choice of a Zone hat or a Talk Radio hat. Just another incentive to be a part of that great tournament. Remember, send me a text. If you want to be a part of the tournament, I'll give you the information. Put a team together for $800, and you can play in our charity golf tournament. All right, that's going to do it for us. Coming up next, it's the Paul Feinbaum Show. Then The Drive, all right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.